Hi, this is Not Inquisitor with another review of the Nations of Théah. This is Book 8, Vendel and Vesten. This is a country based on the Vikings and Scandinavia type of country or culture. Uh, the tagline for this country is blood and commerce. On the cover here, you have two main protagonists in this nation. You have here Master Valmok, who is a merchant, not prince, but merchant. Let's say merchant guild master. And on the other side, you have Magnus Bribjolf, son of Larsfolks, one of the main warrior of the Vesten, and a Jarl. So, what this nation is all about, contrary to this fellow over here, this nation is not about all things Vikings. It's a little bit more complex than that. You see, if you want to play a barbarian or a Viking in this setting, you can do it by playing one of the Vesten. But the nation is officially called Vendel since about 2 decades ago, or maybe a bit farther than that, but it's really a complex place to live culturally. You see, if we go back 200 years ago, the Vestenman Avenir, which is the full name of the Vesten, were a fierce tribes of warriors, and pretty much in the same ways of the Vikings. They were sailors, explorers, raiders, and a little bit barbaric in the sense of, in our modern sense. But as the story of these Vendel go way back from the times of legends, and for them, legends and history are the same. You see, for the average Avalonian, the legends are more important than history. But for the Vendel, it's the same thing. You see, there is a great collection of epic poetry in the Vesten called the Groomfather cycle. Groomfather is this epic character that is the father of all the island and tribes of the Vesten. He's called the Grey Wanderer. Wanderer. Sorry for my English. This epic collection of poems tell of the story of Groomfather and the creation of the world, basically, which is in their eyes an eternal struggle between fire and ice. In these islands, there were 25 tribes that were constantly fighting against each other for food, land, for wrongs, whether it's real or imagined. These tribes were constantly at war against each other. Sometimes they were going to the other side of the sea, and at one point they conquered some land in Avalon and Montaigne. They tried to invade Eisen at some point, but the Eisen being Eisen, you can imagine what kind of war that was. It is said that the weapons now of the Vesten or Vendel is either the axe or the guilder, which is the name of the currency in 7th. At least the widest accepted currency. So if I go back to the history of this nation, a great worm, a great strange creature, let's say a dragon named the Great Worm, came from the land beyond the sky, bringing death and destruction. So the 25 tribes sent their best warrior, united the 25 against this great worm. The battle was epic. In the front of the book you have the full poem of these heroes and what happened to them. Some died, some survived, but in the end the great worm was killed, and each of these extraordinary individuals took one of the scale of the creature, and by doing so they became something else. They became the embodiment of the 25 word of power given to man by the Grey Wanderer. They became the living runes. And since then, each of these heroes are celebrated in their own ways. And the magic that is practiced still to this day in 1668 by the traditionalists refers to these runes. And since the story of the Vesten predate the one of the other nation, it's kind of strange that their magic is different from the other nation. The other nation's magic comes from a pact that was done with some evil force, but the Vesten are not, did not partake in that pact. Their magic, their rune magic, is different. It's natural. It's not breaking the world. It's a magic about the elements, the strength. It's about the virtue of people or their flaws. So these living runes disappeared in history, but if you tell the Vesten that if you ask them what happened to these runes, they will tell you that they still walk the land, and maybe they are found everywhere in Théah. Is it true or not? It's up to you, the GM, to decide. But there is a great description of these extraordinary people and what they might have done in history to alter the course of things. In Vesten, some years ago, maybe a decade or way longer than that, maybe 100 years, there was a fraction as symbolized with this crack in the rock. You see, as the other nation in Théah became more and more modern and more contemporary, and they sometimes accept scientific achievement and advancement, a portion of the Vesten became aware that the ancient world was slowly fading away, and that a new world, a modern world, was taking its place, slowly but steadily. So some of them became merchant, and being the sons of the Grey Wanderer, so proud, they had to leave the ancient ways behind, and they created the guilds, the Vendel League. The Vendel League is an organization that encompasses all the guilds in Vendel, and they all united under a council. And soon enough, they built a fleet, not to conquer this time, but to trade and become master trader. And years after years, after decades, they become so good at commerce and trading that they became the reference for exchange and trade in the world. So much that this very niche was occupied by the Vodaci before, the merchant prince of Vodaci. But the Vendel became so powerful and so rich that they imposed a certain standard in the trade, and their currency, the guilder, referencing to the guilds, became the standard of commerce and exchange in 7C at the expense of the Vodaci. So there is a kind of a merchant little war or friction between Vendel and Vodaci. But going back to Vendel, this schism or this fracture between the old ways and the modern ways is still going on in the island. And in Vendel, the people of Vendel have so much lost their ways with the old ways that they even modernized their name. For example, Master Val Mock, his real name is bigger, is longer than that, and it's referencing to his ancestor. But he decided to shorten his name, so it is easier on the alien tongue or the strangers. It's more easy to say Val Mock, Master Mock, than his real name. So it's really interesting as a setting. You see, the usual player will play in this nation a barbarian, a Viking, or whatever. But this book has very, very much more to offer. When you decide to play one of these moderns, Vendel, it comes with this background of tear between two peoples that are brothers, but who are not the same anymore. You see, those guys, those modern ones, believe more in the science of astrology than the runes. But if you talk astrology to a Vesten man Avenir, he will tighten his fist and he will be ready to punch you in the face, because it's an insult to your ancestors. But the other one will have so much money in his pocket that he can buy all the bodyguard and he requires to defend against the other barbarian, uncivilized people. So it's really a place that is teared apart by culture and history. So much more is going on. The nation of Vendel was using, before the advent of modernity, a system of caste. With at the top of this system you had the High King, and the High King in Vesten was not chosen by blood or by vote or something like that. When one High King died, someone else came and sit on the throne. And the story is always the same. It's someone that will be lost in the land, that will be trapped in a snowstorm, and this person will take refuge somewhere, and he will start to hear the ancestor talking to him and giving him direction to become the next High King. And at the moment when you start this story, if you take even the basic meta plot of this nation, the hiking is nowhere to be found, and the tribe of Vesten are not united against their brother Vendel. So they are really without a aim, without a goal. They're still waiting for this hiking to come back in their life, as their brother Vendel are becoming more modern and are trying to in fact, taking expansion on their land. The caste system then downgrade to Jarls, which is your warriors and warlords. Then you get to your Carls, which are the trader, the farmer, the people who will care for the land or village or whatever. And then you have the thralls, who are slave and will do the dirtiest of jobs. Back in Vendel, the capital of the Vendel people is called Kirk, and if I remember correctly, it was called before in the original tongue Kirk Jubair Jo Cluster, something like that. So yeah, since the city became their capital, they shortened it to Kirk. The Vendel leagues reunited several guilds together. You have your sailor's guide, merchant, miner, you have the printer, you have the blacksmith, the carpenter, and you have two special other guild. You have the jennies, which is prostitute. There is no other way around this. Prostitution is legal in most of the nation in Théah, and most prostitutes will register to the Jenny's Guild, and it's kind of a protection system for them. If some clients becomes troublesome or whatever, the Jennies will generally have access to swordsman or more direct way of dealing with these. So the clients who goes to the Jennies are really checked and watched, and they can do their little business, but they are reminded of time to time that this is a business, and they cannot step out of the line. And the last guild is maybe one that you will use in your campaign, called the Swordsman Guild. 2 decades ago, there some swordsmen in Vendel decided to codify and to reunite all the swordsmen in one place, and this gave birth to the Swordsman Guild. Now every nation in Théah have a chapter of the Swordsman Guild, and except in maybe Vodache, it is illegal for people to take a sword and duel openly. You have to be a swordsman to have this authority and the right to do it. In Vendel, you even have a guy called Linae Nut, which is a grandmaster of sword. His character sheet take almost 1 full page, maybe 2 page, because of all the martial skill he have. He's maybe the greatest fighter in all Théah. His quest is to master every swordsman school ever created, and he have some diplomacy skill to back that up. So he even learned some secret school over time, and he's really one of the greatest swordsmen around. The last part of the book is related to character creation. it's really an important. Maybe this review is a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it's really an interesting book. The destiny spread that you do with all other nation is different in Vesten. You decide firsthand what kind of character you want to create, and if you want to create a Vendel or a Vesten, and depending on this choice, your destiny spread is completely different than what you can do with the other books. First of all, the Vendel believes in astrology and the Vesten in the runes. So you are still doing your destiny spread by determining your past, present, and future, but this time it's by rolling a die 100, a percentile die. You have a table for the rune Vesten rune drawings if you choose to do a Vesten character, and if you choose a Vendel character, it's an horoscope. So you roll a sun sign, a birthhouse, and a moon sign. So after that, you can determine your virtue and flaws as you roll. So it's really interesting. It's different. When you do a Vesten rune drawing, for example, you will not draw a card from a tarot deck. You will instead ask the question, and you can even roleplay this. You can ask question like, "What shall be is beginning," and then you cast your dice on the table. What shall be is journey, and you roll again. And what shall be your destination, and you roll again. And it's really, it can become like a little bit of roleplay with your player. The book adds some new background. One of note would be the blood sword. Your character have sworn to do something really, really hard, and you will not rest until you do it. You have new skills for the Scald, which is your bard, if we can say that, but let's say storyteller. Scald are really important in Vesten. You have even new rules about Scald versus your reputation score. If for example you hire a Scald and this Scald arrive before you in a village and spread the word about your arrival, you can arrive in the city and have a boost in your reputation just because a Scald have spread the word. So it's good. You have a new skill called Whaler. Yeah. And you have some new knacks for the merchant skill, since commerce and trading is very important in this nation. You have your new swordsman school. One is called the Half Danson Harpoon School. Another one is called the Larson Swordsman. You have the Rasmussen Pistol School and the Sigurdsdottir Axeman School. This one is particularly fun because you have two axes in your hand, two small axes, and you fight very quickly. You have new advantage. Some of note are the old name. Your character have an old name that is related maybe to the living runes or an old family of heroic character. You have the berserk advantage. Yeah, in this game, being a berserker can be fun, but again, this is typical. If you want to play barbarian, like in Pathfinder, yeah, 7C has much more to offer than just your basic barbarian. You have advantage called astrologer, rune weapon, and rune items. Those are really great because the runes have a power invested in them. You can have an item with a rune inscribed in it. So just a normal sword is fun, but if your sword was branded with a special rune, and given by your grandfather. It's a little bit better than just a normal sword. You have also new rules about the scout and reputation, I said, and investment. Your character can participate in a kind of a trade. You can invest money and have your money increased over time if you do a good investment. So you have a kind of like I don't know how to say it in English, but yeah, like a market in Dow Jones or Wall Street. You have the stats for a new monster called the Tundra Beast, which I use in my game, and it's really a tornado of violence. So I would not recommend using the Tundra Beast on the starting character, and even on journeyman character. It's really a beast of violence and senseless killing. So to close this review, I will end with character types you can play. The typical, archetypical, stereotypical would be the Vesten warrior. This book is so rich. I would recommend you to not do a Viking just vanilla out of the box Viking. You can do it, but this book has so much more to offer. You could create a skald, a Vesten skald. You could play a sympathetic user. You can play from the basic. You can play a Leerdom mage, which is a rune user. And if you really want to play a Viking, that's fine. But don't forget, you have also the other part of Vesten, Vendel. You can play a merchant. You can play one of the representative of the Vendel League. You can have a bodyguard to your side. You can play a Vendel astrologer, since they believe in that science, that pseudoscience. And you can play a dilettante. Yeah, you can be a noble who is spending his money, and the money comes back to you faster than you can spend. So here you go. This is my review of this great nation. It's really packed with stuff, and I would not hesitate to recommend it for any games of 7th. Whether you want to have a fully fleshed out NPC for your to interact with your players, or if you want, or if you have a player that is playing a Vesten or a Vendel, this book is really flavorful and will help you create a beautiful story about these people. Well, thanks for watching.